Oh, okay. All right. Take two. This is the full moon in Aries reading. We're going to be starting with Aries today once I get all of these cards laid out. Sorry about that. If you are watching live on Facebook, I do apologize for that interruption. So, yes, welcome back. Hello, hello. Thank you for hopping back on. I was having some issues with that. So, okay, let's start over. So we have the full moon in Aries happening on September 24th. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's going to be different if you're in a different time zone. But the 24th is when this full moon is happening in the U.S. Hello, everybody who's hopping on. And then go ahead, drop in the comments, Sun, Moon, Rising. Where is Aries for you? Do you know what house Aries is in for you? I love the Aries full and new moon. Probably one of my favorite moons to deal with. It just does my body a lot of good. So let me know if are you a fan of the Aries new and full moon? Can you not stand it? Are they hard for you? And then I have a new deck that I'm going to be playing with today, so I hope you guys enjoy that. Hello, hello, hello. Okay. Oh, and also, if you're wondering, why aren't weekly messages up for this week? I did not do weekly messages for this week. I have way too many readings to do before I go on vacation. And so I want to make sure that you guys have the weekly messages and the November monthly readings coming out on time, because I'm going to be gone during those typical dates, and so I'm kind of in overdrive in terms of filming, so I was like, I'm not going to do the weekly messages just for this week. So, ooh, Aries in the 10th house. Yeah, Aries midheaven. I have Leo midheaven. Okay, are we ready? Let's see what's going on. Starting with Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. So make sure you watch all three if you know what they are. If not, go to astro-charts.com. That's my favorite natal chart generator. Okay, so first thing coming up for Aries with your full moon, we have 5 of Cups. So this is really going to be a time to explore your shadow, like what parts are not working for you. With this full moon, it's going to be a really good time to go through, take inventory, and check and see what exactly is working and what needs to be released, what needs to be let go of. Just go through and sift out whatever's not working, whatever needs to be tuned up for you. And that's what disappointment, or the 5 of Cups, really allows you to do, is experience the pain, the discomfort, the frustration that is going to help you make necessary changes. And that's what this full moon is pushing you to do. And then we have Soothe. So chamomile is the plant for you. And this is all about reminding yourself that whenever you're in a negative headspace or having a hard time, it's not permanent. Okay, it's temporary. It's something that can shift, whether that be maybe you need to sleep on it. Maybe it's something where you need to go for a run. Maybe it's something else, but just remember that there are so many ways to soothe yourself. So take really good care of yourself during this full moon. You could use a little TLC. And then we have the Ace of Coins. So this is laying the framework where you're really going to be able to make a big difference. You're going to be able to do the things that you want to initiate, but it looks like the Five of Cups and self-soothing and taking really good care of yourself is part of what the process needs to be in order for you to plant new seeds and plant new growth. I kind of want the plants to be on top because those are like the advice cards for you. All right, Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Hello to all my Taurus friends. Let's see what's coming up for you. The Fool. So this is a fresh start for you. Brand new energy shining through. It looks like this might be a good get things done moon. You might be feeling that. Of course, it depends what else is going on for you, but it's kind of like the Fool is one of those things where you want to strike while the iron is hot. Like if you get the inspiration, just use the fire to your advantage. And then we also have adaptation. So this is being flexible. You have Blackberry is the card for you. So it really is about being open to making a new attempt, a different attempt that you haven't done in the past, something where you're kind of, that's what the Fool is. Even if it's something brand new, you're kind of gonna feel like, oh, I might be jumping off a cliff a little bit. That's always the energy that the Fool kind of brings to you. And so that's how you're adapting, is to do things differently, to get a sense of I'm being refreshed and recharged. And then the last card we have for you is the Knight of Wands. So again, it just looks like you're getting a big dose of energy that's coming through. So use it if you feel like, oh, I really want to take action on that thing, do it. This is going to be a good moon to harness. And it doesn't have to be something career oriented. It can be, it can be literally anything. Maybe it's going and having fun. Maybe it's something school related. Maybe it's a project that you need to complete or something that you're prepping for. It just is kind of like use the fire that comes with this moon. Okay, now Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Page of Swords. So this is the word that's coming up is like meditative moon. Like you can actually sit back and just take notes on some of the downloads that you're getting from all this Aries energy. I would say keep a pen and paper close by. You guys know that I like to recommend that from time to time, just because there is so much information that's going to be coming through for you. So make sure that you have a way to document or keep track of it. You know, I have papers all over the place that I'm just jotting down notes on. So just find a way to do that for yourself, because it's like the hit of inspiration is coming through with the Aries full moon. And then we also have preserve. Okay, so you have pine is the plant for you, and that's what I mean. You want a way to keep track of it. You want a way to preserve the ideas, to hold on to those, because they're going to help you later on. If they don't help you in the moment, there's something where if you're just keeping track of them, it's going to be really, really beneficial for you moving forward somehow. You're probably not going to see why until you wait a little while. And then we also have the Nine of Swords. So it's also going to be a time when you can get a lot of information on what exactly is coming from your fears. What information is coming from the parts of you that are afraid. Because there's a lot of good insight in the fear that you hold in your body. It's there for a reason. So remember, it's not this, it doesn't always have to be this annoying thing. It's something where you can actually have compassion for that part of yourself and see just what does it want? That's really what you want to do when you're approaching fear, is just ask what it needs. What's the underlying thing that's being disrupted, or an underlying need that isn't being met? And if you start asking those questions, it can help bring a lot of clarity to what the real fear is all about. All right, Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Let's see what's going on for you with this Aries moon. The Tower, burning it down. See, I like this deck because it has a lot of fiery imagery, and that just reminds me of Aries so much. Really, it's a big purge for you this with this moon. Just like let it go, burn it down, get rid of it. Let's see what else is coming up for you, though. We have Courage, Borage, I believe is how that's pronounced. Borage, I don't know. But this is really about no matter what you're letting go of, it's all about finding something better. Like, it takes courage to do the releasing. Holding on to old things that don't work is, in essence, coming from fear. And if you're able to challenge that part of yourself, you're going to be way better off in the long run. And then we have the Six of Cups. So you're really creating space in a way that you may not have realized before. You're making space for soulmates. You're making space for healthy relationships. You're making space for healthy opportunities. You're creating space for all these things. And that's part of why you want to burn down what isn't working. That I'm using that language because that's what the imagery is being used in all of this. And so if you can kind of think about things burning away, like, so much growth comes from that. So just keep it in mind. It might not be something that you take action on, but it is worth investigating and worth considering. All right, Leo. Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. So first thing, you have Six of Cups. And with the Six of Cups, there's something about this. The word perspective is coming up. And so how are you looking at the different situations that are making an appearance in your life in this present moment? Are you being open-minded? Are you being closed-minded? Are you being flexible? Are you being rigid? Are you looking at this through a fatalistic perspective? Is it something where you're really inviting your manifestations? It just looks like it's about how you look at things. And remember that if you've dealt with a lot, if things have been really heavy or really or if you've been struggling, remember that sometimes your lens can be a little bit distorted for a little while. It's not exactly what it seems. And in a lot of the time, things are much, much, much better than what you're seeing from your own perception. So remember that. The Six of Cups is kind of reminding you of that childlike naivete where you don't know any better but goodness. Like, that is something that children have a real gift with. And so you're kind of able to harness that with this full moon. And then we also have abundance. Hollyhock is the plant for you. This is really, really pushing you to practice gratitude, because that's how it expands. Like, if you're able to just focus on like the one thing that's working right, it's going to grow and grow and grow and grow. Just like kind of, when you're thinking about prayer, I can tell you the way that I pray is I just show gratitude. Like, that is a prayer in itself. Thank you, thank you, thank you for blah, 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 so that it persists. If you're showing gratitude for what exists or what is persisting, you're going to be a magnet for it. So don't forget that. Even in challenging times, you can still try that out. And then we also have King of Wands. So it just looks like you're really going to be feeling yourself through this full moon. You know, this fire moon is probably gelling really well with you. And it might be something where you find that you're able to heal a certain part of your perspective that you may have outgrown or may not be working for you anymore. So this looks really good. I think that's why it's like you're kind of getting your confidence back. You're gaining your strength back anywhere you may have lost it. And so I think you're just kind of collecting the parts of yourself that you can really use and need at this point in time. All right, Virgo, sun, moon, and rising. Hello to all my Virgo friends. I know a lot of my friends have Virgo suns and moons, so hello and welcome. All right, Justice. Be mindful about where your mind is. It's kind of like, where's the pendulum? Are you going extreme? Are you being somewhere in the center? Is it extreme good? Is it extreme bad? Is it just kind of check in with yourself and see what exactly is going on in the way that you're thinking about things. What's weighing really heavy on your brain, and what's something that you might be pushing to the back. I think this is kind of about reestablishing priorities, or reestablishing what is as important as hold on, let me rephrase this. How much mental energy are you giving to what, and is it really worth it? That's kind of what this is reflecting. So let's see what plant you have. Sage, purify. This is going to be a great time. I also think with the transition of seasons, I'm getting a sense that it might be a good time to do a detox. I like to do one in the winter time, just for evolutionary purposes. When the weather cools down, sometimes your body wants to go a little bit more into a detox state. It would be a good time to go to a sauna. It would be a good time to clean out your house. Do the Virgo thing, which is more domestic based, and really create a sanctuary for yourself. And that's what's going to help you as you clean things out, detoxify, and clear yourself. It's going to help you find more balance in your thinking. So don't underestimate the power of you doing a detox with your body, you purifying some whatever internal processes, or a mental detox too. Maybe you take a social media detox. Consider that. Consider an area where you feel a lot of clutter, and clean that out. And then the last thing we have going on is the Eight of Cups. You're going to come out of this new moon or full moon with a new perspective. So that's kind of what you have to look forward to. Things are not what they seem at the beginning. Oh yeah, fall cleaning tonight. I see that, Danielle. So yeah, it's kind of like where you're starting with this is not where you're going to end once the full moon happens. So you have a big mindset shift on the horizon. So use that to your advantage. I think this is going to be a great time for you to clean things up for yourself. Okay, then we have Libra, sun, moon, and rising. Okay, yes. Katie and Lacey, I see both of you. Yes, yes, yes. Virgo for the win. Okay, Libras. Knight of Cups coming through. So we're heading into your season, with the equinox that we have coming up here in a couple days. It's very much using that Venus. There's something about Venus energy that might make you feel more warm, family-oriented, relationship-oriented. And you might be feeling a bit more inclined to express your emotions. That's also something that's coming up with the Knight of Cups. So let's see what else is coming through for you. We have a Fern, which is growth. Being honest and clear about your emotions is probably the best policy for you at this time, because the Knight of Cups is just showing, yep, be real with your emotions, be honest, be open, like be vulnerable, lean on that. It's something that you can really use as a gift for yourself. Like it's a gift you can give yourself, essentially. And then we also have the Devil. So it might be really scary. Okay, it might be something where you're really nervous and you don't want to do it and you have a lot of resistance and you have a lot of fear. That could totally be the case. But part of how you grow is when you're able to sit on the edge of fear, when you can sit there in things that scare you and come out through the other side. That is literally how you can rewire your brain to think differently and process differently. It's not something where it's just like, oh, I'm afraid, I'm going to back out. You have to challenge that part of yourself, and simply the attempt and finding that things are not as bad as you might be imagining. It's very easy to imagine bad things happening. It's very easy to imagine rejection. It's very easy to imagine not being received. But if you challenge that part of yourself, you're going to start to find that things are not as bad as your imagination can create. Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Alrighty, let's see here. Scorpio, 10 of Swords. So this is also going to be a good time to release. It's going to be a good time to clean things out for yourself. This, honestly, the imagery here looks like this is more intentional. I'm thinking about this kind of like your hand, you doing the releasing, you doing the letting go, you doing the purging. I'm going to pull the other cards and give it a little bit more context. So then we have Strength. This is Bearberry. Okay, so this is not letting go of old ways of being or things that no longer serve you isn't easy. It's never something that's simple or just cut and dry or anything like that. It does take a good deal of strength. So give yourself a little bit of wiggle room there. And the one thing I find that a lot of people don't talk about this with Scorpios. I think that Scorpios are very, very hard on themselves. I find that a lot. And so if you can just give yourself credit where credit is due and let yourself kind of breathe into all of the changes that you're making, it's going to be a lot easier. And then we also have the Moon. It may not be clear what it is that you're letting go of. I don't think there's anything that's going to be coming to mind necessarily where it's like, oh yeah, I need to let that thing go, unless that's been a long time coming. So I think this is a lot more gentle. Don't let the 10 of Swords scare you. It's not something that needs to be feared, because again, this has more to do with your personal evolution than anything else. And I don't think it's going to be a distinct cut and dry, oh, this is what I'm purging, this is what I'm getting rid of necessarily. It's more than likely a little piece of your mindset. That's usually what this is going to do. It may not be a big clearing. It may not be a big clearing out for you. It might just be a subtle release. Okay, so this is exciting to look, this is something to look forward to, because after the full moon is when I think you're going to get a lot more clarity about what's going on. Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Let's see what's going on for you guys. 7 of Swords. Okay, so this is also, there's something very interesting. It almost looks like angst to me when I'm reading this. I'm kind of like, whatever you are moving through. There's a little bit of fire that's sitting here with this full moon that might make you a little bit angstier than usual. So give yourself some space if you find yourself being moody, if you find yourself being a little bit more explosive than usual. Give yourself a break. I think that this is actually one of those things I wouldn't recommend making any big decisions during this full moon. I wouldn't recommend having any serious conversations with this full moon if you can avoid it. Like, just wait until after it passes at least. And you might find that you have a change in heart once this energy kind of passes. Okay, then we also have tenacity, burdock. Yeah, so that's, it's something where I just hold off, just be patient, let the energy pass, and then see how you feel after the full moon. Just wait and see. And then we also have the Hermit. This is deep contemplation. This is where you need to be a little bit more introspective. Look at yourself, look at your behavior. How are you responding to things? Are you really leading with your desires? Are you leading with resentment? Or just check in with yourself. I don't think that this is a full moon where I'm going to be like, yeah, take action and do all the things. You might find a spike in energy, but it's a little bit too soon to tell where it's going to be coming from. Make sure that you kind of keep yourself in your body, do things that are going to ground you. I would say spend as much time as possible as you can with earth friends and people who are going to help ground you and stay really level-headed. Think about the people who really exhibit those traits, and that's going to be who you want to surround yourself with during this time. It's one of those things that as the full moon builds, you're going to find that energy start to rise. And then Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising. First thing coming up, the Hanged Man. This is going to give you a lot of really great insight as to what is persisting in your life, what habits are happening for you, what habits are working, what habits are not working, what habits feel good, what habits don't. Explore your day-to-day activities and see, because I think there's a lot about this that's helping your foundation, like your consistency, your ability to get things done, your ability to take action is and get the things that you want is kind of hidden in your habits. So if you haven't explored that, I would recommend it. And then we have service, so garlic coming up. And it's interesting. This could be pointing to different habits around service. How are you serving yourself? How are you serving others? Are you kind of blending the lines between service and servitude? Those are two very different things, and they don't always live in the same camp. So just take some time to think about that. What type of service makes you feel energized, and what's the type that just makes you want to pull your hair out? Are you doing things out of obligation? Start to think about these things. And then we also have the Page of Wands. So you're going to find that when you start to look at the ways that you're consistent or inconsistent in how you are of service and how you connect with others and what you give and what you withhold, it's going to help you understand what's going on with your energy. If you hold back too much from other people are going to hold back from you, and they're not going to feel as safe with you. If you overgive, then you might find that there's very little reciprocity within the relationship. So just check in around all of those facets, and you're going to find that it's like, aha, that's the key to where I may have been missing energy or not been able to get as much done as I wanted to. It's going to give you a lot of clarity around how you can preserve and maintain your energy. Okay. Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising. First thing coming up, Two of Swords. So not being able to see what's going on next, not being able to have a total picture of the oncoming events or the oncoming energy, and that's just something that you kind of have to wade through. I know that it can be frustrating not being able to peek around every corner, but that's just part of your process right now, is not knowing. So let's see what else is coming up for you. First, we have nourish. So plantain, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. If you watch the October reading, you know that was, I think that was the title of the Aquarius reading, like, you come first. And that is still something that is just being drilled into you guys energetically, is like, stop looking out for a split second and look at yourself. It's like, this is not with a critical eye. This is thinking about looking at yourself and what you need, what feels good, what is nourishing you, what is and what's a distraction. You know, those are all things that can help you get more in touch with yourself, and so you can nourish your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies. And then we also have judgment. So final decisions, being really clear and kind of coming together. It's almost like you're collaborating with yourself. Like, what do you want to do? It's going to be a good time to think about think about big decisions with this full moon, and really, what are you needing, not wanting, right? There's a difference. Like, I would really want to eat a whole chocolate cake to myself, but I don't need that. It's not a good idea for me to do that. I'm going to hurt myself if I do that. It's going to make my blood sugar spike. I'm going to get a stomachache. And you can think about this in the same way, where it's like, there's a difference between what's good for you and what you're desiring. Sometimes they don't live together. So just really start examining what you need and what you need to feel nourished, okay? Oh, good, Katie. I'm glad that's helpful for you. Last but not least, we have Pisces. Hello, hello. Okay, Pisces, sun, moon, and rising. This is good for you. First thing we have coming up is Six of Coins. Give and take. I think you might be in a headspace where you're really beginning to understand, oh, when I give, when I put myself out there, when I'm pushing a little bit more, or I'm asking for a little bit more, I receive more. So that's really what the Six of Coins is about. It's not just about like, okay, pay up or give me what I want. That's really, it's not, that's a misinterpretation of what the Six of Coins is. It's more about, how am I showing up in my relationships, and am I being reciprocated in that way? Because it's one of those things where, you might, if you find that relationships are imbalanced, you might not be showing up in the way that you want to be, in the way that you want people to show up for you. So check yourself. Maybe all of the ways that you're being of service are not totally in line with the way you want people to communicate or be with you. Because this is a very, very relational card, especially you can just see from the imagery because of all the flowers. And so it is reading as relationship. So let's see what else is coming up here. We have humility, dandelion. You don't have all the answers. This is good news. This is very, very, very good news, is that you are not totally locked into any one way of thinking. And this is something where your relationships are the way that you are in relationship has way more to do, and this is true, friendships, business partnerships, romantic relationships, not just romantic. So it's kind of like the way that you're in relationships, if you start to reflect on this, you might find, oh, I've been doing it a little bit wrong. So remember, the way that you are giving or receiving might be causing a few hiccups in your friendships or in your relationships or whatever. And so if you kind of take a humble approach to this, you might actually find that you're more successful in those relationships if you can kind of take a step back and scrap everything you think you know about the way that you should show up in relationships. It's kind of like the evaluation piece is really going to help. And then finally, we have the Emperor. Okay, so divine masculinity, maybe this is something that's coming into your life. Maybe this is something that's showing up or that you're embodying yourself. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like if you want somebody to tell you how they feel, tell them how you feel. If you want somebody to tell you what they need, why don't you tell them what you need? If you want somebody to... it's just kind of like lead with what you want in communication, in relational circumstances and everything. Okay, and that's really where the mastery is going to come from. It's not going to come from a space of I already have all the answers. You're going to find more truth and clarity around just taking a perspective of I don't know, and I'm curious about finding out more. All right, my friends, thank you so much for joining me. Good luck, everybody, with this Aries full moon. I'm super, super stoked about it because I love it. But I hope this was helpful and gave you some guidance. Don't forget, if you want to work with me, I am going on vacation on October 5th, so it might be a good time to get your tarot spreads now before I go, or book a session with me if you'd like. I will post all the links in the description box, and I wish everyone well. Thank you, everybody. I'll talk to you later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.